Shoot him.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been captivated by terrifying tales of monstrous wild boars, fearsome beasts lurking in the shadows. But instead of being afraid, I felt driven. Driven to learn, train, and become a fearless hunter. Tonight, my team and I are diving deep into their territory, into the dark corners where these ferocious creatures roam. A tense showdown is about to unfold, and only the boldest will prevail. Wild boars are powerful animals, but at night, they become even more dangerous. Limited visibility gives them the edge, and their instincts to hunt, flee, or fight kick in with full force. Some people have been chased for hundreds of meters through thick forests. Others suffered serious injuries for underestimating their speed and aggression. In China alone, over 10 wild boar-related incidents occurred in just the last 2 months of 2024, resulting in 7 casualties. Aware of how brutal these night warriors can be, our hunting team set out early to reach a familiar fort, well prepared for tonight's mission. In the pitch-black darkness, we relied entirely on our scopes to track every move. It didn't take long before the first boar appeared. I fired quickly and took it down, our first successful hit of the night. Sweeping the scope to the left, we spotted another group of wild boars foraging silently in the distance. I picked one, isolated in the middle, and pulled the trigger. The heavy thud of its fall startled the rest, and they scattered. We kept adjusting and firing, determined to bring down more. We remained still in the open field, scanning patiently until another herd approached. Their course first stood out starkly under the moonlight. They were massive, arched backs, stocky legs, and solid muscle. I took careful aim, and with a clean shot, dropped one right where it stood. The others bolted, but we managed to land a few more hits. Still, none of us were disappointed. Hunting is never an easy stroll, it's a relentless battle. As the night deepened, more and more boars appeared, bolder and more aggressive. But fatigue was setting in, so we made the call to head back. Yet on the way home, we couldn't help but stop. An overwhelming number of boars had taken over a freshly seeded field. Gunshots echoed through the night as boar after boar fell from well-placed shots. For us, seasoned in the war against wild boars, hunting isn't just about protecting crops, it's an unquenchable passion. Though the night's thrills still lingered in our minds, a new challenge awaited us the very next day. As usual, we gathered in the afternoon to prep before heading back for dinner, gearing up for the real action after dark. By around 10 p.m., we reached our ambush point. The bait had been set, and sure enough, the first boar came sniffing in. As it stepped into the kill zone, I squeezed the trigger, one shot, one kill. But that bait didn't just lure one, it attracted a whole herd. The biggest and strongest were always our priority. 2 well-aimed shots brought down 2 more. We paused to catch our breath before the next round of pursuit. After regrouping, we moved past a small garden near the edge of the field. Through the scope, we spotted another herd hiding behind thick foliage. We had to move closer, and when the moment was right, I opened fire. The booming gunshot sent the herd fleeing. One particularly large boar wasn't so lucky. Back at the same field, the boars had returned. I locked in on the alpha, by far the most destructive, and took in. But our wild boar pursuit wasn't over yet. On the far side of the field, the herd had returned again, scavenging for leftover crops. There they were, boars streaming in from all directions. This was the moment we were waiting for. The entire team moved in for the takedown. During the day, wild boars tend to stay hidden or move slowly. But when darkness falls, they grow bold. If you're thinking of joining a night hunt, make sure you're equipped and prepared. A single misstep can turn the hunt into a nightmare. Did the thrill of the chase get your adrenaline pumping? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic hunts coming your way. For me, this trip was more than just a regular hunt. It was a life or death mission. Although I fought, trained, and faced countless dangers during my time in the military, I've never encountered a creature as tough and persistent as the wild boars. That's why, in today's hunt, this swamp environment became a true battlefield. Holding my rifle tightly, I understood one thing clearly: every decision, every shot must be precise. One bullet, one life. That's the only rule I needed to follow. Swamp-dwelling wild boars not only destroy the ecosystem but also cause immeasurable damage to the surrounding environment. They wade through wetland areas, disrupt plant life, and tear up rice fields and gardens. Especially in the swamp, wild boars can easily hide and escape, making them incredibly difficult to pursue. Compared to land hunting, hunting wild boars in the swamp requires us to move more slowly and patiently, or risk slipping or losing our bearings. The swamp, a challenging environment, is ironically the perfect place for wild boars to hide, especially in murky mud pools or thick vegetation. During the journey through the swamp, we constantly battled strong currents and had to duck under tangled branches to keep the boat from crashing. Eventually, the small boat brought us to a completely unfamiliar area. Suddenly, one of my teammates spotted the silhouette of a large wild boar. Without hesitation, we climbed ashore and fired as soon as we saw it. The boar collapsed after a single shot. Soon after, we locked onto our next target, a giant boar weighing up to 120 kilograms. It was clear that this land was the ideal habitat for these monstrous wild pigs. That afternoon, I traveled alone down the river. The current had calmed since the morning. From a distance, I spotted my first target, a boar soaking in the mud. I carefully approached. Just as it stood up to flee, I took my shot and brought it down within seconds. Muddy wetlands like this are never short of boar activity. A fully grown wild boar was sunbathing nearby. It sensed danger and started to run, but my two quick shots ended that escape for good. Spotting a boar trying to escape, I stopped the boat and set up an ambush to cut it off. It panicked and turned to flee in the opposite direction, but it was too late. The gunshots echoed through the empty swamp, ending its escape. Leaving the forest and heading downstream to return, I noticed small muddy patches, clear signs that boars had passed through. I moved in and there it was. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The wild boar let out one agonizing cry before collapsing. With success in hand, I headed home, tension and satisfaction mixing after a challenging day in the swamp. After a night's rest, we were back at the swamp early in the morning. Wild boar tracks were visible all over the soft ground, deep prints showing where they had passed. We followed the tracks, and suddenly the dogs began barking, signaling the prey was near. I approached cautiously. As the black silhouette emerged, I seized the moment and pulled the trigger. Wow, just look at it, a massive wild boar with coarse fur and razor-sharp tusks. Our next target that day was a group of tenacious boars hiding in a swamp near a residential area. It didn't take long. The airboat brought us right to the first target. We immediately launched our attack, giving the boars no chance to react. They scattered in panic in every direction, trying to escape, but there was no getting away from our determined pursuit. Our hunting results kept piling up, and with every step, it became clear this hunt was not only tactical but also a test of patience and determination in our effort to control the wild boar population. Time flew by, and before we knew it, evening had fallen, but the battle wasn't over yet. Our agile hunting dogs led us to another wild boar. I moved in and, without hesitation, fired a decisive shot. The target dropped instantly. The dogs were outstanding today. Once again, they guided us to another boar. I quickly aimed and fired. The boar didn't even have time to react. It fell without a sound. It seems that skills have improved a lot through these hunting trips. These precise, decisive shots are not only the result of experience, but also the perfect blend of keen observation, patience, and refined tactics. Thank you for following this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.